than the earliest panel that was 60 to 75. So what is the secret in this longevity of yours?
We were born young.
Terrific, sir. Okay, so what I'd like to do, we've got Miss Millie Bailey and Mr. Murray Simon. And we're going to ask the same questions that we had before. And we want to hear basically about you, Millie, and why are you here today? If you could do it within about a minute, that would be wonderful. And then we're going to ask you the questions that we asked in the previous panel.
Well, I'm here today because I was invited, and I'm sure the reason for that is simply that they're not a skilling of us in my age group. And I'm very happy that I am able to be here, and I will try to answer questions that anyone has.
Well, we're happy to have you, believe us.
And incidentally, the name is Vivian Mildred Bailey, but most people call me Millie for Mildred.
Terrific. Sir, you're up.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, sir.
My name is Murray Simon. I moved into Howard County about 26 years ago, and I'd like to echo the warmth that some of the predecessors spoke about how wonderful Howard County is. When I first moved in, I looked at Howard County as a sleeper for a retirement community. After 26 years, I still think so. We have enjoyed living in Howard County, and among other things, I've also contributed a little bit to Howard County by forming a Toastmasters club here in Howard County, Patuxent Toastmasters, by working with the public school system to develop a presence for Hispanic children in the public schools, hoping that they all will finish high school at least and move on. And the third item is that I've been asked to do a number of chores from time to time, and one of those is a pleasant chore of being invited this afternoon to the Forum for Aging. I'm hopefully on July 3rd, I'll be 91 years old. I'm a World War II veteran with a Purple Heart. I fought as a private in the infantry in France, Germany, and Austria. And my biggest award was coming home alive.
That's better, sir. Well, you're the youngster here, I understand. You're the youngster in this group. We're gonna move on if you don't mind. What's that? You what?
I have secrets.
Secrets. I'll get to you later, sir. Okay. Just briefly, Miss Millie, what's working for you in your bonus years, and what has surprised you?
Well, actually, nothing has surprised me. And I said very little about myself a few minutes ago. I lived in Howard County for 45 years, and I am a veteran. I was a first lieutenant in World War II. Job in 1975, and all of my younger friends say that I shouldn't say I'm retired, just say I work for no pay. Yes. I came off the hospital board of trustees in July after 22 years. I'm still on the Police Advisory Council, and that's been 23 years I've been on since its inception. I served on the Judicial Nominating Commission for 8 years and 10 years plus on the Health Resources Planning Commission. And that's the one that approves beds for hospitals and nursing homes and approves certain procedures. I'm proud to say that I was involved in approving the first MRI and the first CAT scans for the state of Maryland. So I have been busy, and all of this is volunteer work. I was talking to some students one day, and they said, "You do this and you don't get paid?" I said, "Yes," but you get the satisfaction of knowing that you're doing something that's worthwhile. My two biggest projects now, and for the last, maybe 20 years, I adopted one of our elementary schools, and I raise big money for them every year. And now, since really 1999 with Desert Storm, I was sending packages, care packages to soldiers. And then when 04 started, I was doing it again. I'm still doing that. I mailed 4 last week and 3 this week. And now there are a group of people, and one of the things we said is lots of homemade cookies, and they love that. I have raised money by contacting a lot of our local officials, and a lot of people don't realize that in addition to the long hours that some of the political people put in, most of them are very generous in helping out good causes, and I've had a wonderful response from them. So nothing has really surprised me, and I'm just thankful that I'm able still to do what I do financially and physically. I'm not as mobile as I was, but I still can get around.
You two are an inspiration to us all.
Pardon?
You're an inspiration to us all.
I'll add one thing in recognition of the service the volunteer service that I have done all these years. I was received by the president last May, and in fact, I'm wearing now the presidential pin that President Obama put on me.
Okay, Mr. Simon, what has surprised you, if anything, and what's working for you in your bonus years?
Well, one thing that surprised me is that as I got older, I found that my fear of getting older, of being left on the heap, unwanted and unneeded, didn't work out. And that I developed 4 ideas on trying to live longer. And one of those ideas was drinking hot water without flavoring. Another idea was my wife taking me to IT classes at the athletic center, in the therapy pool, where we do easy exercises and we come out refreshed after each Sunday morning. In addition to that, I take an anti-aging pill, which I've taken for the last 5 years, and it keeps me in good condition so far. And my wife, Juana, has also joined me the last couple of months in taking these anti-aging pills as well. So,
What's the name of it?
Yeah.
so we,
He won't tell you.
That's one of his secrets,
That's
Stu.
a secret, yes, I got it.
What's it called?
What's the anti-aging pill called, sir?
it's in a family called telomeres. And this particular aging pill is called Telostep 26. It was invented by a fellow down in Florida by the name of Rex Hodge. And a friend of mine who was a friend of mine for the last 50 years had been taking it, and he talked me into investing in it, and I've been thankful to him ever since.
He's done a great job. Terrific. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move to the next couple of questions, then we're going to ask you guys some questions. Ms. Bailey, can you talk about any of your health needs, transportation, social activities, whatever, and give the audience a little take on that?
As far as transportation, I moved in November to Vantage House, and they provide transportation to a lot of different places. I have my car there, and I still drive, so that when I need to go, I don't have to call on Neighbor Ride or any of those, which incidentally I understand work beautifully. But because Vantage House makes all of these trips, I usually go to one shopping area in the morning, a different one in the afternoon. So transportation is not a problem. Did you have something else you were asking with that?
Whatever you want to state. How about health?
Say
Your health
that
needs.
again.
Health needs? You have any health needs or
Well,
social needs?
my health needs are taken care of because by going into a retirement home that has the various areas I speak of as step down, I'm assured that if I need assisted living, I'll move right into it in the same place. If I become ill and need the health care, it's there. So that's taken care of. As to social needs, I'm a pretty social person. I know a lot of people. I may have said it earlier, I've lived in Howard County for 45 years, and I've been involved in so many different things that I know a skillion people. Social needs are not a big problem. I'm trying to hook up with some more people at Vantage House to play something like Scrabble. But I also play word games, and I think it's important because things like word games or other board games make you use your mind. And I think the worst thing that seniors can do is sit in front of television all day because they're receiving information. They're not having to use their minds. By being on the hospital board all those years, and for about the last, I guess, at least 19 of those 20, I was on a committee that met unbelievably at 7 a.m. in the mornings, which is a pretty early time to be at work on non-paid anything. But you have to do something. I think you have to keep your mind and your body active. I think both of them atrophy. And again, I think the very worst thing that can happen is people who just sit in front of the TV being entertained. You have to do something that makes you use your mind.
Thank you. Terrific. Mr. Simon?
To what you just heard, I would say amen. One of the things that happens as you're aging are two things. One is resurgence of suddenly reinventing your life and doing things that you thought were too old for you. And one of the things that I learned recently in the past maybe year or so has been a conversation I read by the Buddha. And the Buddha was asked, "What did you gain from your meditation?" And the Buddha answered, "Nothing. But I'll tell you what I lost. I lost anger, anxiety, fear of illness, and fear of death." And this encouraged me to buy a course of the great courses in mindfulness meditation, and I listened to the 24 lectures in the course and learned a great deal, and now I do meditation of my own on a daily basis.
Terrific. Okay. Actually, what do you wish you had known, and how are you preparing? We say for the next decade. How about the next 50 years?
Well, I really can't think of what I wish I had known. But as far as preparing for the next decade, I have all of the necessary papers already done. However, two of the people, at least three of the people that I had written down I wanted to do something when I held my last rites, they preceded me in death. So I don't know how to, well, you can't keep it from happening. But as far as, I'll repeat again, as far as we think of what I wish I had known, I can't think of that.
Fair? Mr. Simon?
Well, I only look forward to tomorrow. I can't think ahead of the next decade. I hope I'm here, but I'll take it day by day. And I've already written my obituary, and I've discussed it with my wife, Juana, and we change, we review it and sometimes make changes every 4 or 5 years. So at least we're covered, and we also have our funeral arrangements taken care of. I'm a member of the cemetery committee of my congregation, and I am impressed with the way we take care of the immediate deceased and get them ready for their funeral and their next stops. So in that situation, I'm not afraid of leaving this life, and I'm very happy to know that when I do go, I'll be taken care of.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that has any questions for these two absolutely fabulous individuals?
Before I ask my question, I just want to also thank Mrs. Bailey. I'm a Running Brook resident. I've been in Running Brook for 46 years. She has been and continues to be an inspiration to all of us and her work with students and teachers at Running Brook Elementary, enabling students to go on field trips that they may not have been able to go on. I just want to say thank you again for everything. One of the reasons I came here today was because I've been in the same house in Running Brook, my starter house, for 46 years. I don't want to join a 55 and over community. I want to bypass that and head straight to some type of life care community. I'm wondering if Murray and his wife live independently, and if not, where they are, and with Mrs. Bailey, if I can ask, is she enjoying Vantage House, and were there other options that she had thought about? Thank you.
Who wants to go first? Miss Bailey? We'll let the oldest go first. Miss Bailey, go ahead.
Do you enjoy?
Do you enjoy, well, what's your experience at Vantage House? Would you recommend people going there?
Vantage House?
Vantage House.
Truly, I would recommend it. They have so many things that take care of most of your needs. And it's a very well-run organization. I didn't explore any others because I knew quite a bit about it. I knew some of the directors, the board of directors, like Jenny Thomas, Ann Mack, Lynn Egan, and some more. So I knew when I decided that I would leave. The reason I decided to move when I did was I knew that I wanted to go, could only go there if I could live independently. I also knew that I didn't want a one-bedroom place. I didn't want to go from 8 rooms to 1 bedroom. I could afford to do more, so I was going to do it. I also had to go when they had openings, because they don't always. And when they had 2 apartments they could put together so that I could have that expanded space. So I have a nice, spacious apartment. In fact, my adopted grandson compared the square market space, and I have almost as much, configured differently, but I have almost as much in my apartment as I had in my 8-room bungalow up the street on Running Brook. I moved 1 mile down the street. Although the moving is cost if you're doing 15 miles, I think. However, Vantage Point does return part of your moving costs, and that was a nice thing too. So I'm terribly happy, completely happy, and I think that I would encourage anybody to consider, look at all of them, of course, but to consider Vantage House.
Terrific. Mr.
And
Simon?
they didn't pay me to say that. They didn't even know that, they don't necessarily know that I'm here because they weren't involved in your
Well,
inviting.
we're gonna recommend that they give you a discount for next month.
Oh, we live in a condominium. Fortunately, it's all paid, and all we pay for right now are maintenance fees. When we first moved in, the person who received our application told me, you have no business wanting to buy a condominium because you don't have enough income. Well, fortunately, things happened where I could pay the condominium off in 10 years.
Terrific. I can't begin to thank you enough, both of you, because you undoubtedly were the highlight of this forum.
Absolutely.
Absolutely fabulous. We have the same for you as we did the other panelists, but quite frankly, I'd like to give you more because I think you did better. But I can't. So here, don't anyone go away. We're not finished yet. Thanks for you, man.
Thank you.
You're absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
And sir, I'll get yours in a minute. Thank you.
I'd like to add one thing, if I may.
Absolutely.
I enjoy meeting people, and I enjoy telling them jokes, because I like to see a smile or a laugh on their faces. One joke is about playing cards. The joke is, for a wedding, it takes 2 hearts and a diamond. If the marriage doesn't work out, you may need a club or a spade.
Thank you both.